Wanna be Ryan the Great, and today we have some blockbuster trade news coming out of the NBA. Karl Anthony Towns headed to the New York Knicks after an offseason of rumors of Karl Anthony Towns could be heading to the New York Knicks. The Knicks are interested in him. They finally get this deal done in the past coming days, apparently because the Charlotte Hornets were they were interested in becoming a third team involved in this trade to help with financial problems or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, we'll be breaking this down. We'll be talking about what this means for the New York Knicks and what this means for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And we're just going to get right into it. But before we get right into it, guys, make sure you subscribe with your post notifications on. Go subscribe to my brother Living Vlogs. Make sure you go subscribe to my second channel at Ryan the Cod Great. Make sure you guys go follow me on X, Ryan the Great RTG. Make sure you guys go follow me on TikTok at Ryan the Great RTG. Make sure you guys go listen to the latest edition of the CR7 podcast. And make sure you guys go follow me on Twitch at Ryan the Great Podcast. Now for you, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the video. Let's roll that intro. Hey. Come on, Stotty. Stop! 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 Red Slam! First pitch! Bring him in! Yes! Oh, damn. All right, let's get into the video. So starting off, let's break down all the moves and all the guys being moved in this trade. So the New York Knicks, they will receive Karl Anthony Towns. The Minnesota Timberwolves, they will receive Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, and a 2025 top 13 protected pick from the Detroit Pistons. That is, being traded from the Knicks, but, it's just from the Pistons. Nonetheless, and then the Hornets, they will receive some draft compensation, I assume some second-round picks or whatever, just to make sure all the financial problems are settled. Now, what does this trade mean for the New York Knicks? Well, they fill that center spot that is so weak. I mean, you were going to have to play Randall or Jericho Sims as the starting center, and with so many bigs in the East like Joel Embiid, Bam Adebayo, Kristaps Porzingis, etc., you were going to give up way too many points in the paint. You weren't even going to be able to score in the paint, and when it came to the playoff time, saying that you guys are, beat up, obviously, like Sims and Julius Randle. You're obviously going to have Mitchell Robinson back, but by the time he comes back, is he going to be 100% healthy? We all have to take that in consideration. Is he even going to be, 100% come playoff time because he has that injury right now? So those are all things we have to take into consideration. And then, and then all these other teams who have great rebounders, they're just going to out-rebound you, and then they're going to end up, taking the Knicks out pretty easily because of the fact the Knicks are tired and they're not going to be able to rebound. So, making this trade for Karl Anthony Towns does somewhat fix that. He's obviously not known to rebound the ball as, one of the greatest rebounders of all time, but he definitely can average, 20 and 10 on any given night. So that's something we also have to take into consideration. But now I want to talk a little bit about spacing, I guess you could say. Cat, he kind of fixes, he kind of doesn't help the three-point shooting, but he also kind of does because he is a good three-point shooter. Don't get me wrong. He did shoot pretty bad from three in the playoffs. I think he shot just under 25%. And you did lose Dante DiVincenzo in this trade, who was coming off a career year, great defensively, shot really well from three. I mean, he was averaging almost like 7 threes a game. And on great nights, he was making like 7 threes a game. So Karl Anthony Towns, while not that great at three-point shooting, obviously he's one of the better three-point shooting big men in the NBA. I don't really think he's going to entirely fill the what you're losing here in Dante DiVincenzo when it comes to three-point shooting. I am interested to see where he will be set up. Is he gonna, be used on pick and rolls, and then he'll be, he'll get the ball on the three-point line and then shoot it? Will he just pick and roll and drive into the paint? What is he gonna do when he eventually runs a pick and roll with Jalen Brunson? That is something that we have to wonder as well. Now, I think he should just be playing down low because I think if he does play up top for the most part, the spacing is not going to be good because you obviously have Jalen Brunson up there. You have Josh Hart. OG Anunoby plays on the perimeter sometimes. So you have a lot of guys there that are even Mikal Bridges for that matter. He can be used as a guard, but he's going to be playing as a forward this year. So, you have a lot of guys that can play on the perimeter, and Karl Anthony Towns, if he's playing on the perimeter for the most part, you're just going to have 5 guys on the perimeter and nobody in the paint to grab a rebound or just pass the ball to. So that is something that we have to take into consideration. He still can average 19 and 9 down in the paint. I'm not saying he's going to, drop so much in production. Now, he might drop in production a little bit because he has to play down there all the time, most likely. And they also have Brunson and OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges and stuff like that. But he's once again going to be the second or third option on this team. Now, on the Timberwolves, he was the second option, but he's probably most likely going to be the second or third option on most nights for this team, and he's going to have to get used to that. So, I mean, this can work out well for the Knicks. They just have to use Karl-Anthony Towns correctly, and I think, using him down, this is good that they traded him before training camp, so they can use him down low and get him accustomed to playing down low before the season starts. Now, what does this trade mean for the Minnesota Timberwolves? This just tells me that they're going all in on Anthony Edwards. Now, they got Towns' contract off the books, and he was in his first year of like a 5-year, $220 million contract, something like that. Now they can afford some of the better role players in the NBA, like they have Jaden McDaniels, Dante DiVincenzo, Julius Randle. These guys are going to be used as role players on this team. Well, Randle will probably start, but they're going to use someone like Dante DiVincenzo as a role player on this team, and he's one of the more expensive role players in the NBA. So now they can afford that because of the fact that you get Karl-Anthony Towns' contract off the books. Now you just got to go for it in the West. I mean, you have all your pieces. You have some better role players in the NBA. You have your superstar. You have a really good defense. You have Gobert on the inside, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle. They don't do bad defending inside the arc. And then you have Dante DiVincenzo, Mike Conley, who has lost some speed over the years, but still a very good defender. Anthony Edwards, Mike Conley, and Dante DiVincenzo out there on the perimeter to play defense out there. So your defense is pretty much set. Offensively, it's good that they have Mike Conley, so they have that older point guard in the beginning of the season to help develop this offense because of the fact that you've had Karl-Anthony Towns since 2015 on this offense. It's almost 10 years. Karl-Anthony Towns has been the guy in Minnesota for almost 10 years, and playing without him in the offense is going to look weird for some guys on the Minnesota Timberwolves that have been playing with him for a couple of years now, that even being Anthony Edwards. So it is going to be good to have Mike Conley so he can facilitate this offense. They need him to start the year, and once they start to develop as a team, then maybe Anthony Edwards can even go for more. He can try to, maybe score more, try to go more for MVP. I'm not necessarily sure. But really, I think the only way, not the only way, but the way this trade is going to work out for the Timberwolves is if Anthony Edwards develops into an MVP candidate, which is what I think everybody does expect him to do. And this trade should give him the confidence to say the Timberwolves, they believe in me, and I got to go out there and I got to prove why. They traded Karl-Anthony Towns just so I could get the ball in my hands more. So yeah, I think that breaks it down pretty well. We'll have to see how both teams are used when the season begins. I think we kind of know how the Timberwolves are going to play, but the Knicks is going to be an interesting team to watch, as we expected them to come into the year with not really a center, and we didn't think this trade was ever going to happen. And also, OG Anunoby coming off the bench while getting paid almost like $50 million per year was going to be ridiculous. But nonetheless, this trade gets done. That'll do for this video, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe, or potentially coming off the bench, I guess you could say, for OG Anunoby. But that'll do for this video, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe and the post notifications on. Go subscribe to my brother Lemmy Blogs. Make sure you go subscribe to my second channel at Ryan the Cog Great. Make sure you guys go follow me on X RTG. Make sure you guys go follow me on TikTok at RTG. Make sure you guys go listen to the latest edition of the CR7 podcast. And make sure you guys go follow me on Twitter at Podcast. And as always, Ryan the Great out. Peace.